Welcome, everyone. I'm Rima from UNODC's advocacy section, and I'm happy you could join us all for this wrap-up session for the second day of E4J's Global Dialogue series. We are reimagining education for a more just world through over 30 discussions with over 180 speakers from all around the globe over the course of 4 days. You can find all the details on our website, and you can still sign up for all the remaining sessions on unodc.org/E4J, and you can follow the discussion on Twitter with the hashtag Justice Dialogues. Today we had 12 sessions in several languages on a wide variety of issues on education and the rule of law in the current global pandemic. These are all themes which are pertinent and current in our news and in our daily lives. We're talking about wildlife crime, we're talking about human rights, we're talking about the power of reading and grassroots initiatives in strengthening SDGs for a better world. We're talking about trafficking in persons, youth-driven technology and entrepreneurship. And we're talking about the power of the concept of citizenship and how to build bridges between technology, education, and the rule of law. We have 3 distinguished guests with us today who I'm delighted to welcome for this wrap-up, who gave really inspiring talks today, and who will have the very difficult task in just a few minutes each to give us highlights about their initiatives. First of all, we have Rana Dajani, founder and director of We Love Reading. Welcome, Rana. We have with us Bruno Derbaix, sociologist, philosopher, and founder of Ambassadeurs d'expression Citoyenne. Welcome, Bruno. And we have Tara Chklovski, founder and CEO of Technovation. Welcome, Tara. Rana, let me start with you by asking you to tell our viewers how a molecular cell biology specialist and one of the most influential Arab women decided to create We Love Reading. Tell us about the process and your research and how you see that this can change children's behavior and attitudes today. You have the mic.
Thank you very much. It was an amazing day, an amazing conference and panel. Actually, We Love Reading started because of this feeling of responsibility, that we all have a responsibility to make a difference in our community in our own way. Each of us has knowledge and experience that we need to put to work beyond the walls of our work and our classrooms and make a difference. That's how We Love Reading was born. Realizing the importance of reading for fun to create change makers. People who also become citizens and change makers in their own community rather than victims waiting for somebody to save them. And this, in planting this social compass of what is right and wrong, all starts with reading that fosters empathy, communication skills, listening, so that we can build better bridges amongst different groups to understand and respect, even if we disagree. Those are the fundamentals that We Love Reading does. And it does it by training adults and youth to read aloud in a fun way and start reading aloud sessions in their own local neighborhood, in their own language, on a regular basis in a public space. Now, the program was highlighted and explained today, and now we also brought in research experts to study the impact of the program, and that's what's so unique, rigorous academic research to show how We Love Reading has made an impact not just on the children, but on the adults and on the community as a whole. And the impact is not just on education, by the way. These holistic types of programs that are grassroots have indirect impacts on mental health, improving resilience, and reducing stress and anxiety. It also has an impact on building social entrepreneurship and feeling as citizenship. And the program itself is now created a virtual community of these We Love Reading ambassadors, that's what we call them, all over the world, connected on a virtual platform of peer-to-peer learning where they can support each other, and they become the champions and the true heroes of creating a social movement that spreads around the world.
You talk about reducing stress and anxiety, and to somebody and all of our viewers who are living in this global pandemic, this sounds a little bit, inspirational, shall we say, and a little bit difficult to reach. Can you tell us how the COVID-19 pandemic has created new challenges for such an educational approach? Has it really reduced stress and anxiety? Tell us your experience, Rana.
Great. So COVID is a terrible thing that has happened to us, but I'm a very optimistic person. I see a silver lining in everything. You know, as humans, that's how we've survived. This is part of our evolutionary advantage, is that we turn a negative thing into a positive thing, and we take it as an opportunity to learn. And so from COVID-19, what we have done at We Love Reading is, first of all, we've moved all our training online and tailored it to be so low bandwidth. So you don't need a lot of internet. You don't need a very sophisticated phone, and anybody can take it at any time without being highly educated. So that's one. And we translated the training to 10 languages, so accessible to everybody around the world. Number two, the people who take the training, they read aloud to their kids in their own homes. So you don't have to go into public spaces and gather big groups of people. You're doing it. And now with no schools, this becomes a placeholder to keep the kids engaged. And so back to the question of when a child and a parent or a caregiver is reading a real book, not a digital one on a screen, a real book in the lap or close, and having eye-to-eye contact with another human being reading this book, this is what allows the child to go beyond the stress and anxiety, allows the parent and the adult to forget the anxiety and just focus on having fun in this book, to talk about something that's neutral, is what we've shown with research, that the resilience improves, cortisol goes down, and these children and adults are now better equipped to deal with the reality around them. And so technology becomes something we control rather than it controlling us. And we maintain
this is something.
Yeah, we maintain that human interaction because, again, we're social creatures. We survived and we need that social part. So with COVID, yes, we have been restricted in our homes, but we're taking advantage of what's happening at home to, instead of it boring and everybody is stressed out, we're having fun because we're reading something we both enjoy and have fun together.
Certainly an inspiration for all of us, Rana. I don't think a lot of us are finding that this is an easy thing to make a positive point out of, but I'm going to make an easy transition from reading to the concept and the practice of citizenship with Bruno's Ambassadeurs d'expression citoyenne, which is a great example of the progress of education on rule of law. Bruno, please tell us about the essence of your unique initiative, which is based in Brussels.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for this introduction. Actually, I work in an association called the Ambassadors of Citizen Expression. So it's a concept close to what Rana was speaking about, Ambassador of Reading. The purpose of our association is, in one hand, to empower young people to use citizen tools, and after using, because they've grown up using these tools, to share it with other pupils. And so we have something like 200 ambassadors working in schools, in association, in order just to share how citizenship practically can be useful in life. And in the other hand, we work with schools and we help schools not to be only learning place, but also place where we are living citizenship concretely. And that's very important to have that in mind, because citizenship, it's not only in the books. It means at school how we can manage justice in order to have the equality, for the students to be able to speak about the problems, to find a repairing solution. And so how live the justice at school, it's one of the objectives we pursue. It's also how can we live a delegation, projects, vote, but also how can we live journalism at school. And so we have all that program called the Citizen Schools, and we help schools to become places where it's possible to involve as a citizen, as a student. And today we were speaking from a short video that we made with our young ambassadors, and we were speaking about the possibility with that kind of tools to work in democratic countries, but also in non-democratic areas. Because if students and young people just experience the usefulness of citizen tools, then in one hand, they are able just to live it in the normal society. In the other hand, they have more abilities, more skills just to fight for democracy. And so we were doing that with the young people, with 5 of our ambassadors, and they were just speaking about their own experience and also experiencing a tool we have that we call verbal justing. It's one of our multiple debating tools, and that was the point about this session today.
It was very interesting, and I watched also the movie that you showed in these inspirational youngsters. But you did also mention that, and that was my next question anyway, that COVID-19 has affected a number of these youngsters as they try to find their place in life. Can you tell us a little bit of how you have been able to adapt your initiative in these circumstances of a global pandemic?
Yeah, actually, before the crisis, we had a lot of problem. We had a problem of equality. We had a problem of poorness. We had problem of possibility for the students to go at school and to stay at school. We had problem of media education, and with the pandemic, all that problems became worse. And worse even more for the poor people. And in our association, we have a lot of fragile publics. And so maybe 2 months after the first wave, we just realized that for some of these young people, it was really too hard to only stay at home. It was not possible to just to study. It was not possible just to breathe. And so we organized these shifts in our office in order for them to have the possibility not to see each other, but just to breathe in comparison with their really difficult life at home. And I consider ourselves, with the pandemic, I consider ourselves as firemen. Now it's the fire situation. We have to be resilient just to find solution. But I'm pretty sure that all the work we are doing now and that we were doing in the past will be even more useful after, because all the programs will just grown up.
That's amazing. Thank you very much for this insight, Bruno. I'd like to go to Tara, who has yet another approach to education on rule of law through cutting-edge technology. Tara is based in beautiful California, and we would love you to walk us through your work with Technovation, and especially with young girls, as we have read. The floor is yours, Tara.
Thank you. So through Technovation, we empower young girls ages 10 and up to find problems in their community and create technology prototypes to tackle them, but also to deploy them into the real world. So there's a very strong entrepreneurship angle. And the rule of law democratizing the ownership of this, right? That there's not just for certain sort of police officers or certain sort of stakeholders, but it's up to all of us. And I think that kind of mindset is what Technovation is really about, where if there's a problem in your world, you shouldn't wait for the government or somebody else to try to tackle it, but technology empowers you to have huge impact, right? And so this has been our drumbeat, and especially to bring this message to young girls. And we've been doing this for the past 15 years across 100 countries, roughly reached about 1/3 participants so far. And what we have heard over and over again, regardless of whether girls are coming from affluent backgrounds or developed countries, a girl will come up and say, nobody ever bothered to ask me what I thought about this problem. And just the very fact that your ideas are valuable is very empowering. And then, of course, you can bring the tools with online education and free access to information. That is very, very empowering. And then the last part is making sure that they are mentors. So we work with industry, we work with universities to invite people with no technical background to come and work with girls to find problems along the lines of the UN SDGs and to deploy these solutions. So it's changing the community's mindset and helping build resilience, because you're learning future-ready skills. And these types of mindsets for both adults and youth are critical, where you're never too young to lead and you're never too old to learn.
That's a very wonderful concept, but I'm wondering whether in your case, Tara, in the case of technology, has the COVID-19 pandemic had the same kind of impact on your field as it has perhaps on others and on schooling?
Yes, because at the end of the day, we're humans that are involved. I think even though our curriculum is online, we still relied on teachers and mentors to get together with girls to meet and go through the program. So I think we are launching the season now, and I recommend everybody who knows young girls to participate in this program, because more so now than ever, we need to empower young people to tackle complex situations like COVID, right? Like COVID issues, climate change issues, inequality issues are all cascading. And our schools do not have the time to be able to build these types of capabilities in young people. So it's organizations around that need to really provide these long-term opportunities. I think what I'm excited about is that everybody, the entire world, is suddenly open to virtual interactions and freely connecting with online sort of platforms. And I think that's awesome. I would not have thought that the entire world would have gotten there so quickly, but we have. And I think that's the positive part about it. I would not have been, I mean, I didn't have to fly here for this meeting, you know? And so of course, there's a lot of loss, but I want to focus on the positive because we are entering 2021 and the mental energies are low and you got to focus on what has worked.
That's fantastic. Since you are taking this positive attitude, let me ask you to give me a one-word answer, Tara. It has been in the news in the last week or so that the word of the year for a number of the famous dictionaries has been pandemic or lockdown. What would you like the word of next year's dictionary, word of the year for next year to be?
I think healing.
Healing, very nice. Rana, let me ask you the same question. What should that word be next year?
Mine is resilience.
Both of them go well together. Bruno, I give you the last word on next year's word. What would you like the word to be? Your mic, you have to unmute yourself, Bruno.
Conscience.
Conscience. I think these are all words that give us a lot of food for thought. I'm very grateful to our three insightful and inspirational speakers today. We were very glad to have you. I hope you will all join us tomorrow for the next wrap-up of day 3 of our big conference. And to remember to follow us on Twitter with the hashtag Justice Dialogues and to go on our website, unodc.org/E4J to sign up for yet more brilliant discussions that we will have tomorrow. I will hope to see you tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, everybody. And from E4J and from the entire advocacy team at UNODC's headquarters in beautiful Vienna, auf Wiedersehen.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.